to Yahweh Hashem, Shai Hashem, Rakakwadash, Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. I'm going to entitle this video True Reparations is Captivity. You can't, give us reparations by giving us a check. You gotta give us the check, the checkbook, the pen, and the writer of the check. You have to go into captivity. It ain't a money thing. It ain't about money. Money ain't gonna get it. Money is not gonna get it. Okay? It's a change of worlds. Let me see if I can find this. Ecclesiasticus. I believe that's 10 verse 8 if I'm not mistaken. Bear with me for a minute. I believe it's 10 verse 8, but I could be wrong. Okay, I got it right. I wasn't sure it was the 10th chapter or the 11th chapter. So it says here, and I will read a couple of verses above that. Ecclesiastes 10, because of unrighteous dealings and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me go to the context. And the hand of the Most High is the prosperity of man, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. Bear not hatred to thy neighbor for every wrong, and do nothing at all by injurious practices. Now let's deal with the neighbor thing. You got vocab saying, well, we're neighbors. Okay, good. Well, you'll be our neighbors. You'll be our wicked neighbors. But you did as neighbors, because that's what you're saying. Well, the Lord spoke about, love your neighbor, and we're your neighbors. We all live in America, right? So we'll deal with that. But it's a two-way street. We can't love you and you hate us. You hate us, hate's going to come back to you. Let me read that again. It says, in the hand of the Most High is the prosperity of man. And so in other words, the Most High sets men up and brings men low. And upon the person of the scribe's talking about the spiritual man, the prophet, the righteous man, right? The elect. Because scribe is not a negative term, but you had wicked scribes and Pharisees, but you also had righteous scribes and Pharisees. Look up the word scribe, it's a writer. The prophets could be called scribe because they saw prophecies and they wrote it down, they scribed it. Shall he lay his honor, and upon the person of the scribe shall he lay his honor. So scribe, like I said, is synonymous with, matter of fact, you know what I'm going to do? Let me do this. Let me do this right here. Because you old crazy, you bugged out ass camps out there. So you a scribe and a Pharisee. There were righteous scribes, and Paul was a Pharisee, man. He never gave up. He never turned in his Pharisee card. So what are you talking about? Let's look up the word scribe. So the Most High going to give honor to the scribe. It's coming up. So let me go to the Old Testament. Okay, so we're going to deal with the word scribe in the Hebrew. Scribe. I already know what the word is in the Hebrew word sapar. It means books. Like sapar means book. Saparya means books. To count, recount. In other words, records. A book is also a record, right? To count, to number, take account, reckon, to be counted, numbered, to be recounted, to rehearse, right? It said learned man, scribe. So we had to learn this book. Enumerator, officer, secretary. Secretaries keep records. When we go out, when we say something, Esau's going, you're the Edomites, go into the book, that's the record. So we're scribes. The prophets are also righteous scribes. Enumerator has to do with numbers. Muster, officer, secretary, learned man, scribe. Now the Apostle Paul, out of all the apostles, he was a learned man, so he would be a scribe. That's why he said, I'm a scribe, my father. I'm a Pharisee, my father's is a Pharisee. And he was raised up under Gamaliel. He didn't see, Paul didn't go around saying keep the laws. He kept the laws. In Philippians, I believe it's Philippians 3, he said, matter of fact, let me go to that. Matter of fact, let me do this. Let me go to the word. See, this is taking me kind of in a different direction. Scribe, for another word, is the record keepers. So where's the records in the scriptures? Moses, he would be a scribe. The psalmist, there was more than one psalmist. David was one of them, chief psalmist. He's a scribe because his songs were actually prophecies, but he sung the prophecies. Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, which is the book of Ecclesiasticus, because it said, and Shiva was scribe, and Zadok was likened unto a scribe. He was a priest. He dealt with the laws in order. Abiathar were the priest. And Ira also, the Jeriite, was a chief ruler about Davis. So he had, King David had guys on, high level guys. Let me see, let me go back to the word scribe. Scribe, I'm gonna go into the New Testament. And I'm going into other topics too. I was just watching some of the video that the elder head of Baltimore, GMS Baltimore did concerning HODC. They said that the wicked man and Lazarus, that the wicked man is the wicked Israelites or the scribes and Pharisees. No, it's talking about Esau. Now back then, you apply it to them. But you can also apply it to the Romans, but you apply it to Esau now, the super rich among Esau, which represent all Esau's. Representing Esau, the lowest common denominator is talking about Esau and Jacob. Esau is on top right now, and Jacob's on the bottom. You can see that Jacob is coming up. Jake is doing big things now. Just like they did back in the pagan Roman Empire, they pushed so much into the system of the Roman Empire that they became the Caesars. There was a lot of Jake back there in high positions. And even in slavery, in American slavery, you had Jakes that purchased their way out of slavery, and they had slaves. You had slave masters who fell in love with their slave women and wound up marrying them and gave them equal status. So they became mistresses. Okay, so I wanted to get this in the New Testament, in the Greek. And when we go into the Hebrew and we go into the Greek. Let's see what the Greek word for scribe is, or the word scribe in the Greek in the New Testament, if it even comes up. No, it doesn't even come up. I might have to put in scribes. Okay, let me put in scribes. It should come up in the New Testament. Yep, here it is. Let's go to it comes up a bunch of times. All of you scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites.
Strong's G 1122. Grammatus. Grammatus.
So it's the same thing. When they said grammar, I thought about writing. A clerk, scribe, especially a public servant, secretary, recorder. In the Hebrew, one of the words was recount. The word was sapar, right? Whose office and influence differed in different states. In the Bible, a man learned in the Mosaic law. Now, the Apostle Paul was a Pharisee. He was an expert in the law. He didn't tell people keep the laws. Matter of fact, he told people Colossus. He told them, look, he said, don't let nobody judge you as far as meats, drinks, and the respect of a high holy day is, which is a shadow of things to come. Meaning, in the kingdom, the laws are going to be done perfectly. And when the Apostle Paul spoke to Israelites that was raised up as Israelites, they were required to keep the laws, right? Even Yahushua said when he forgave the woman that was caught in the act of adultery, he said, "Go and sin no more." Meaning, when you go, keep the laws. He said to the rich man, well, he asked the rich man, "What must I do to gain the kingdom of heaven?" And he said, "Keep the laws." But to the ones coming out of that Gentile state of mind, they didn't have to keep all the laws. There were certain laws, like Corinth. Adultery was a no-no. Eating blood from animals is a no-no. What else? Circumcised. They did. He didn't require them to circumcise themselves as of yet, because they were coming up into the fold. So you don't tell nobody, "Oh, keep the laws." Like the Bishop Nate said Saturday, we was watching him, listening to him. He said that the oil, 5 virgins, 10 virgins, 5 were wise and 5 were foolish. 5 didn't have the oil. He said that means the laws. No, it does not mean the laws. It's talking about the whole truth. Okay, you ain't gonna get nowhere with just knowing the laws. Yes, it's important when you come into this, you keep the laws to the best of your ability. Because if you kept all the laws, you wouldn't even go out your house. You wouldn't sit on the bus, because you can be sitting down where a woman had a period, so you're unclean. Then you go to the temple and you're unclean because you sat where a woman sat. Or you went and you buy something from the supermarket, some meat, packed meat, and a woman could be packing your meat that's on a period. So guess what? You're unclean. So in order for you to keep the law perfectly, you're gonna have to go somewhere, some land where it's just Israelites and y'all all keep the laws. It's humanly impossible to keep the laws. So when a guy tells you, "Oh, and keep the laws," I guarantee you they don't know the laws. I guarantee you they do not know the laws. There's over 600 laws, and y'all don't know them. The Apostle Paul knew all the laws, and he challenged the scribes and the Pharisees. He said, when it becomes keeping the law, I'm a Pharisee. Meaning he was an expert on the law. He was saying, look, I know that if you want to have a contest on who keeps the law, who knows the law, I'll beat you every time. Because remember, he was raised up as a youth to keep the laws. That's in Galatians 4:1. A tutor. He was raised up. He went to school. He was learned. Acts 4:12. You can start around 12 verse. It goes into knowing the name. There's no other name greater than this name, and not so many words. And it says that the apostles were not learned men, meaning they were not experts on the law. So they didn't understand the laws. And Apostle Paul said in Romans chapter 7, even though he was an expert in the law, he said, "I count all things, including the law, as dung to receive Yahushua." He said, "The things that I do is not me that doeth it, but sin that dwelleth in me." So that meant he broke the law every once in a while, but he kept it pretty damn perfect. So the only thing you can do is keep the law as best as you can in this system. It's impossible for the IUIC members to tell you to keep the law. They're not keeping all the laws. They keep certain laws. They put their fringes on. They might not eat pork, but they go off on the Sabbath. First of all, in order for you to keep the Sabbath, fool, you got to know when the Sabbath falls in on. The Sabbath falls in on based upon the new moon. No, it's Friday, sundown, and Saturday, sundown. Where's that in the scriptures? Where's Friday, sundown, and Saturday, sundown in the scriptures? Now, I believe it's in the NLT, because they assume that that's the seventh day. The Sabbath is based upon a new moon. The new moon, and y'all celebrating high holy days on a full moon, talking about that's a new moon. So when you celebrate the tabernacle and the Passover, you're celebrating it on a new moon. When it says 14 days at evening, which is going into the 15th day, that's when you celebrate it, which is a full moon. So this guy tells him, and I didn't want to talk about him, but the Spirit, compelled me to talk about him. He's clearly going off. Like I said, I'm going to say this again. If y'all guys are so goddamn great, which I give y'all credit, a lot of them guys are sincere. I'll say that. That's why when I rolled up onto the two brothers, at first it was kind of like a stare down. Let me tell you the story about them two brothers. Was that Gadolite and the other brother, the Ephraimite, but he was tall, dark skinned. None of them saw me. I saw them before they saw me. And I could have kept walking in different direction, and they wouldn't even. So I saw them before they saw me. So I believe his name is Gadaliah. He was the one that turned around and noticed me, and he looked like he saw a ghost. Like, oh shit, that's the, you know. And so I looked at him and I said, "Shalom, what's up?" You know, and I didn't smile at him. I said, "Shalom, what's up?" "Yeah, shalom." And I said, "Yeah, you guys are IUIC, right?" And then I just went right into the scriptures. I went right into the scriptures, and we were there going through the scriptures for about a good 25 minutes. And then it was at a BJ's. Now, you know, right at the entrance, people were coming in and going out. Do you know people stopped and started listening to us? Mainly me. It was like a camp going on. Because I had this, I don't know if I had the scripture with me or I opened up my phone or whatever. And they opened up their phone and we were going back and forth into the scriptures, right? And this was a good 25 minutes. And then they said, okay, we're going with Shalom. So it was like good vibes. That's why I said, it's all right, can I take a picture? Because we had good vibes. In the beginning, it was like, you know, yeah, there goes them two niggas, or there goes that nigga to hard, or whatever. That was the initial thing. But like I said, it calmed down. Because if any of you out there run into a brother from another camp, you can say salute. You can salute him, you know. And if a conversation takes place, you go into the conversation and then you tell them. Look, this is why we said this, that, and the other about your leader or about what you're teaching. You're going off on that and show them the scriptures. You know, like Bishop Nathaniel. If we ran into him and we were civil with that guy, we cut his ass up. We'll cut his ass up. He'll be uncomfortable around us. Because the first thing I'm going to ask him is, you did a video, you came to the school, all your breakdowns, where you get all your breakdowns from? They're going to say One West. Okay, good. What about the 12 tribe sign? You guys got the 12 tribe sign. Where did you get that from? Did you make it up? No. Ariyah taught me. Why would you trust in Ariyah when you don't trust Ariyah when he says the name of the Most High is Yahweh and his son name is Yahweh Shai? Why did you, I just want to know, I believe it was 2010, why did you call a meeting saying we're gonna all agree not to use the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai? Now, prior to 2010, if that was a year, I remember Kanai and Abba Ya'ala, which he changed his name to Abba Yel, which the right name is Abba Ya'ala, right? Abba Ya'ala. It was Abba Ya'ala, my God. Abba Yah, my father, Allah. Abba Ya'ala, I believe that's how his name was written. They put Abba Yel, the EL instead of the Allah. So they changed around the Hebrew. That's not the real Hebrew. There's no E sound or L in the Hebrew. It's I or I. And you learned that. Then I'm going to say, why did you call the meeting? That's the first thing I want to know. Why did you call that meeting and say we're going to choose not to use the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai? When Kanai was using it, when Abba Ya'ala was using it, when Yahweh Sap was using it, when Shakya was using it, these are the men I remember because you wasn't that big back then. All right? And so we caught that. We did videos. We said, man, what the fuck you mean? You know, you don't use a name. And then all these guys stopped using the name. They said, Christ this, Christ that, Christ this, we other. That's the first thing we're going to ask you. Why did you call a meeting? What, did you have a dream? Did the Most High come to you in a vision and say, don't use my name no more? Use Christ? Oh, and then this guy, Kanai, which he's, you know, he's evil personified, because he made a statement to this guy, was that in Trinidad, brother was down with GMS, and they were mad as hell, boy. They wanted to kill that dude. They said, this nigga down with GMS, and we can't, and they wanted to turn him around. They wanted to turn, he wasn't turning around now, you know, at that time. But Kanai said that the reason why we shouldn't use the name Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, he didn't say it that, but he put that vibration out there. I'm trying to say it as close as he said it. He said, did he say I was there? Well, he did say this. He said, Ariyah taught Tahar. No, he said Vernon, which total disrespect, all right? And I'm over all you guys. Apostles are over bishops, all right? You can't go any higher than an apostle, all right? Bishops are just guys that clean the church. That's all you niggas do. You guys just clean the church. Don't try to break down scriptures. Clean it. Make sure the bathroom's clean. Make sure the floors are mopped. Make sure the books is set up. And that's it. And sit your ass down. This is why you guys be going off on the scriptures. If you guys were the apostles, you would know that the MOTB is a micro C-hip. And we know that you don't know you're breaking it down wrong because you changed it a couple of times. You changed it, two, three times. So we're going to win, just like the Cornelius thing. We won on the Cornelius thing because now you're teaching that. Anyway, I didn't want to go all into that. But anyway, this guy, Kanai, evil personified, he said, Ariyah taught Vernon to say Christ. Now, how the fuck, is he going to bring me to this, High Priest Ariyah going to bring me to the side and say Christ, when I came in saying Christ? Because I was a Christian before, the family Christian, all niggas are Christians, right? That's a topic right there. But anyway, when I came in and I read the book and I would read, okay, brother, read, I would say Jesus or I would say Christ. And they would say, don't say Jesus, don't say Christ, say Yahweh Shai. Okay? Say Yahweh Shai. So where in the hell did your lying ass, where in the hell did you hear or was you in the presence of Ariyah telling me to use Christ when I came in using Christ? Ariyah was known for getting, no, brother, use Yahweh Shai until the split came. All right? So we don't know what Ariyah did in the, if he took a bag, the Most High gonna get him. But anyway, I'm all over the place a little bit, but I went into a little bit of the history. Well, the tall brother, he said, nah, the Tahar didn't come looking for no trouble. But at first I was, it was that look like the Western movies where the two gunmen, they stand each other down. That's how I looked at them. And I kind of Shalom, yo, IUIC. But then when we went into the scriptures, everything calmed down, Now, like I said, let's say I ran into Yahweh Shop at Barnes and Noble's in Yonkers, and he was with his wife, and I saw him, and he saw me. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I don't want to talk to him. I forget why I didn't. I mean, I could have said shalom, and I kind of looked at him and just kept walking. I had a stoic look on my face, and he had a stoic look on his face, and he obviously saw me because there was only 3 people out there. It was myself, him, and his wife, and we were like, we damn near bumped each other in the shoulders. So I chose not to spot. I could have said, shalom, brother, what's up? And I could have said the reason why we get on your guys for that. And if I would have talked to him, I would have said, wait a minute. And there was a whole lot of things I went into because he turned his back on the plow too. When the split came, when we got kicked out of the house of David, a year or 2 later, he came up to the school in Connecticut. He actually came up to the school in Connecticut with a young, what's his name, Asaph, Deacon Asaph. And this was because Deacon Ace, I ran into him at the pizza place on Burke, which the school is down the block, the old school, not the new school that they're in, but the old school. And he saw me, and I had pizza or whatever. That's back when I was eating pizza. I don't eat that shit no more. I'll eat like special pizza. I don't eat pizza in the pizza shop. So he saw me, and I've been going there for years. My cousin Johanna turned me on to that spot years ago. They got good pizza. three brothers from Italy, I think, pizza. Now Issachar's got it. They bought these guys out, so they got it. But he saw me with a bag or a box with the pizza in it, and his eyes popped open. He said, "What are you doing around here?" Like I'm spying on the school. First of all, you guys put the school out there on your website. This is where the school is at. This is the address. And he said, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm here. I'm getting some pizza." But then we were cool, you know. And we said shalom, and we talking, and this, that, and the third. And the first thing I said was, "You might be one of the elect," because that's when he was a lot more humble. He had a lot more of a humble look. But I believe he means well, but he doesn't see the wickedness of Bishop Nate. You know, you ain't gonna have me saying no more. Look, Tar, you got to use the word Christ. I said, that's the day I'm out of here. I'm out this bitch. See you, and I wouldn't want to be you. But that was the first thing I would ask the Bishop Nathaniel. I would say, why? The first thing, maybe the second thing, but most likely the first thing. Why did you call a meeting to say we're going to agree not to use the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai? And I'm going to let him talk. I'm going to fold my arms and let him talk, because he never explained it. And he set up the YouTube page 06, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 4 years later, if it was 2010, that's when he made that state that had the thing. Then these guys just started saying Christ this and Christ that. And I said, what's going on? Then I found out, I forget from who, that they had a meeting. So our first thing popped in my head, them guys sold out. Then the new moon thing came about in 2016. They further, the new moon being the full moon. And, the hell doctrine. The hell doctrine may be 3 years old, if that. There's videos that go back 5 years ago that Bishop Nathaniel said that the lake of fire is America on fire by the missiles hitting it, something that he learned from High Priest Ariah. So, you know, I was a little all over the place. I gave you some more history. And then, like I said, going back to the Cornelius thing, we got kicked out because of the Cornelius thing. We said Cornelius is an Israelite. Shortly thereafter, they started teaching that Cornelius is an Israelite. So guess what? Let's deal with each other's track record. When did we ever go off on the scriptures? Never. Matter of fact, we found out that the 7 went off on certain scriptures. So if we stuck to the fact that Cornelius was an Israelite, and later you see it, you should consider, well, wait a minute, man, they might be. Did you consider that the mark of the beast could be the microchip? Did you even consider it? Because I would consider all things. You considered it. But we don't know what happened that made you keep teaching that. Like I said, you changed it. At first you said it had nothing to do with people. It represents countries and companies. It says not people. Oh, when I ran into them 2 brothers at the BJ, I pulled that out. I said, well, wait a minute. I said, Nathaniel never goes to the 17th verse. What does the 17? And they were kind of uncomfortable about the 17th verse. They kind of changed the subject. I forget all the details. But I said, you guys teach that Revelation 13 and 16 is talking about countries and nations. It has nothing to do with people. So I said, would y'all please like to read the 17th verse? And I don't remember if they read it or not, or I read it. I said it's talking about man. It's talking about man. Because Bishop Nate would always stop at 16 and would go someplace else. Oh, let's go to Revelation 11. Now let's go to Revelation 18. Then he started going into the 17th verse. Oh, it's man now, but it's talking about sin in all of its forms, whether it be political or religious, whatever the hell that means. How do you sin politically? You vote for Trump when you should have voted for Biden? How do you do that? That means you're going to burn in hell? Oh, and the burn in hell thing. Even HODC's going off on that. And they go off on a lot of things. That's like a Christian church almost. They go off on a lot of things. But the Osh was, Elder Osh, whatever his title is, I was watching a video and he was clearly going off, man. He was saying that the scribes and the Pharisees, the scribes and the rich man and Lazarus is the scribes, or the scribes and the Pharisees. And he kind of hinted on the fact that they could be burned in hell. There's no such thing as hell. So the stuff that y'all learn from One West, it's like old wine bottles. It's seeping out. And we can see it seeping out. Now for Bishop Nate to go into Matthew 25 and say that the 10 virgins, 5 were wise and 5 were foolish, 5 had oil in their lamps, he said the oil represents the laws. No, it goes deeper than the laws. It goes into the prophecies. Because if you're keeping all the laws and you tell people to take the Quran when it comes, guess what? All those laws that you kept goes out the window. Anyway, I did a lot of talking. But I also wanted to go into this. The stranger in matter of fact, let me do this. Bear with me for a minute, please. Okay, I was watching this too. Let me come back.
However, that we're making progress in.
Okay, this is a good one. I subscribe to this brother right here. He's Muslim, though. It says American Marine. This is an Edomite Marine. Look like an Edomite. Tells the truth about America's nasty history. You have nothing to be proud of. And this is a guy that looked like an Edomite that says that. This guy right here. He said that the free labor that the slaves gave to America amounts up to about $25 trillion. And I did some numbers. I said if they decide to give us, you're not going to get reparations, all right? You're not going to get reparations, period, in this kingdom. You're going to have to take reparations. If they were to say, okay, we're going to give you reparations, let's say we're going to give each black man, woman, and child, let's say there's 50 million of us, just throwing that number out. We're going to give each of y'all $1 million one time, which is an insult. You know how much that adds up to? If you do the math, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's $50 trillion. There's no way in hell they're going to give out $50 trillion. There's no way in hell they're going to do that. Your national debt is what, 30, 35, 36 trillion? And that goes back to the time of Lincoln. Because it was this guy, the Indian killer, Andrew Jackson, that he cut the debt down to zero. And it was built back up through guys like Lincoln and other guys. It was built up. Nixon, Kennedy, the Bushes, all these presidents, they built, and their administration and the Congress at that time, at different times, they built up all that goddamn debt. And this guy, Biden, is really building up the debt. There's no way it can be paid. So if you can't pay off $36 trillion, you get somebody write a check, okay, I'm going to pay for all of it. Boom, it's done, you're good. You're back to zero. How the hell are you going to pay the so-called former slaves? How you going to pay them $1 million? And $1 million, a one-time payment of $1 million is an insult. Now, my thing would be this. The first payment would be $3 million. Every year after that is $1 million. And we don't pay taxes on anything. We tax-free across the board. That would be a good money deal. All right? That would be a good money deal. But guess what? That's not good enough. You got to go into captivity. Your ass got to go into captivity, right? So now, let me come back again. Okay, this is it right here. I'll let you hear it.
Uppities was looking down upon them, you know.
Yeah, so these guys are going off. They go off on a lot of things. They hit a lot of good points, but they go off on things. They going off on things. This guy's teaching that the rich man Lazarus, that they're the scribes and the wicked scribes and Pharisees.
What crumbs and all this other mess, you know, talking negative about them as well.
Verse 20, and there was a certain.
And first of all, the scribes and the Pharisees and the priests, they didn't give us crumbs or nothing like that. It was the Romans that we was able to eat. And this system, we able to eat. That's Deuteronomy 28. You start around the 43rd verse, I believe it's around the 47th verse. Everything that we get is from them.
A beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate, full of sores.
And this, the Christian Israelites and the poor of the Israelite, which is representation of Lazarus. And them sores, all types of issues and
it represents Israel as a whole.
verbs and stuff. Okay? Read the 21st verse.
And desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table, moreover the dogs came and licked his sores.
Now, who are the dogs? The dogs are the Gentiles.
Okay, so he said the rich man are the scribes and the Pharisees, and the dogs are the other nations. But Esau's not involved in this? It's talking about Esau.
They are called dogs in the scriptures. King David and Psalms.
Israelites were called dogs too. The Canaanite woman, another thing y'all go off on, the Canaanite woman, the woman was a Greek, she was an Israelite. She was an Israelite. In a Gentile state of mind, starting to understand that this was the Messiah. Ain't no Gentile gonna call the Messiah the son of the Most High. She was an Israelite and her daughter was an Israelite. That's why the Lord healed her.
Psalms 22 said dogs have compassed me, talking about the Romans. And in
right, that yeah. It said, cast not thy pearls before swine, neither give that which is holy unto the dogs. It's talking about Israelites, wicked Israelites.
Yahushua called a woman a dog. So they looked at
that woman was an Israelite on a lower level than Judah, because Yahushua came for Judah first. That's why after the fact, he said, go to all the nations. They called the Great Commission. The Great Commission is in Matthew 10.
the nations as dogs. Okay, and Israel had it, if you're in the presence of another nation, you are unclean.
Chapter 14, verse 1. For the Most High will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob.
They shall do what?
Cleave
They're
to the
going
house
to
of
cleave
Jacob.
to Israel. Right? Go ahead.
And the people.
Those strangers are Israelites. Those are the ones coming in, like, perfect example, what's his name? Cornelius. Cornelius was an Israelite that was raised up as a Gentile by his parents, because they got caught up, their parents got caught up in the mess with the Antiochus Epiphanes. So when Cornelius was, met Peter and came into the fold, that's part of the fulfillment of Isaiah chapter 14 and 1. Us coming in here, we were all considered Gentiles. Mental, spiritually wise, we were Gentiles. We didn't know we were Israelites. So us listening to the men before us, those individuals knew that they were Israelites, telling us that we're Israelites. So we're the strangers cleaving unto them. None of the seven is here teaching. Who's here now? The next generation, which represent myself, the brothers that was back in One West that are still teaching. Okay? So now let's go into this. I'm getting ready to cut this short. Okay, Isaiah 14. I was going to give you a whole lineup of scriptures, but I'm not going to. Israel's taunt. For Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob. That's another name for Israel, sometimes Judah, and will yet choose Israel. This means that the Most High is going to bring the two kingdoms together, and they're going to be one nation, and set them in their own land. Ultimately, you had the flea doctrine. You had a bunch of people that didn't know the scriptures that was deceived by this clown, Rakar Shadar, or Rakar whatever, of the GOCC. He had people go flee to Egypt, and they got stranded out there. And they had to call family to get their asses back to America. And guess what? They became disenchanted about the Israelite thing. And the strangers, these are Israelites. Perfect example is Cornelius. Cornelius was considered a stranger. Shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave, the strangers shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Now this right here is talking about us going to Israel and enslaving the people that enslaved us. And the people that shall take them and bring them to their place in the house of Israel shall possess them, the nations, and the land of Yahweh, Israel, which is the whole world, for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over oppressors. Who's oppressing us right now? The Edomites. That's the top kingdom on the planet. Were there nations that were ruling on us before Esau? Yes. Now let's go back into history. The Egyptians didn't take over the Edomites or the Moabites. There's no record on that. They took over Israel, and there were surrounding nations. Why was that? Because the Most High set up the Egyptians to take down the Israelites, not the Edomites. It said, "In the house of Israel shall possess them," the other nations, starting with Esau. Go to Psalms 83, start from 1. "In the land of the Lord," which is going to be the whole planet. The headquarters is going to be in the Middle East, which they call Levant. "For servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors." Let's pull some words out. The rich man and Lazarus, we are Lazarus. Lazarus, if you look that word up, the word goes back to the Hebrew word, which means, how do you say it? Eleazar, or Allah Azar, which means God help. Who do you give help to? People that need help, right? You don't help nobody that doesn't need no help. If somebody got packages, you say, "Can I help you?" You say, "Nah, I got it. Somebody struggling, "Can I help you?" Yes, I would appreciate that. Then you help the person, right? It says, and people shall take them, bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess. What does the word possess mean? Own. In the land of the Lord for servants. Let's look up the word servants. Back to the basics. Slave. That's all we need. Slave. Servant is a nice way of saying a slave. Servants, handmaids. Slave girl. So the nations that enslaved us, we're going to enslave them. That's true reparations. Captive. Let's look up the word captive. Sometimes you go into one verse and you break it down. The word there is Shabbat, to take captive, to lead in captive, to be captive. take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Let me look up the word rule. To rule, have dominion, lordship. Like they say that the Hebrew Israelites are supremacists. Yes, we are. In the kingdom, we're going to be supreme over you. So that's not a bad move, a bad word. Tread down, subjugate, to scrape out, to scrape out, to cause to dominate. We're going to dominate you. So in the kingdom, we're going to work you, and we're going to beat the shit out you, and we're going to kill some of you, and you're going to come back and go through it again. It's going to be like Groundhog's Day, that movie that Bill Murray made. Yeah, we met Bill Murray. That guy's he's an Israelite. He definitely an Israelite, man. Like if you met him, you would say, hey, he is Israelite. That dude was cool as hell. Yeah, when he went shopping, he went to, I think that was called a Wiz on 86th Street. He was out there selling oils, and everybody was kissing his ass. He didn't have no bodyguards. He had a dark, black, police-looking car with an Ephraimite chick in it. And he had got all kind of audio equipment. And like I said, he had no bodyguard. He had nobody around him. he was kicking it with us. And even Ricard, he gets starstruck when he sees one of them stars. He's, oh shit, oh yeah, you're Bill Murray, yeah. He said, when you gonna do another Ghostbusters movie, you know? And he got some oils. He gave us, I think he gave us like $40, and you know, it was less than that, but yeah, no, that's for y'all, man. Y'all have a good night and all that. The dude was cool as hell, man. So anyway, so this word right here, we shall rule over our oppressors, right? To press, drive, oppress, exact. We're going to get things out of you. Exert. Exert means to work your ass off. Demanding, pressure. To press, drive, to exact, drive. Taskmasters, ruler, oppressor, tyrant. We're going to be tyrannical. Lord, exactor of tribute. Exactor of tribute is what the Romans did. They didn't necessarily enslave you, but they taxed the hell out you. That's what the 70 AD was all about, because they were taxing the hell out of the Israelites, and they said, we're going to go to war with these people. To be hard pressed. So it's not going to be easy. It's going to be like 12 years a slave, but it's going to be 1,000 years a slave, and then we're going to gather you together, and we're going to get rid of you. And you may come back to the tribe of Dan. The scriptures didn't tell you how they're coming back, but they're going to come back. They might come back, mingle among the other nations. They might come back as Hamites, or whatever the case may be. They're not coming back as Israelites. They're not coming back as the tribe of Dan. Inside joke. And there's many scriptures on captivity, and in the Old Testament and in the New Testament. And this is what Vocab Malone is scared of. He's scared that he might be an Edomite, and he might go into captivity. He don't want to go into captivity. These Edomites, believe me, trust me, these Christians and these scholars and these elite, they watch all our videos. They watch all our videos. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.